hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
Good evening and welcome once again to Street Talk. This is Paget Maynard sitting in for Ahmad. And today I have with me Charles Thomas. Charles is a regular here.
How you doing?
Good now. All right. We have a few things we want to talk about today.
Right.
And just to come up to date with some recent happenings. We had some shootings again over this weekend.
Right.
Two, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
One at in Tennessee at a
Waffle
restaurant.
House. Yeah, Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the other one, I didn't quite get where that was. By the time I got, it was just a little piece of it I heard.
Right.
But it was a youngster, a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll look at both of them. Tell me, Charles, let's deal with the Waffle House first.
Yeah, it was a young single person. I think he shot maybe 4 people on the outside. Yeah, 4 on the outside. And then he went on the inside,
Mm-hmm.
and he wounded some people in there.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the gun might have jammed or misfire, and they got wrestled away from him. And then somehow he eluded the apprehension, and then he took his coat off and ran down the street naked. And they had like a big search for him. He just disappeared. Yeah, and it's just too much of this happening. And what they're saying is they had issues that were not resolved or addressed. But somewhere along the line, somebody got to know that these kids are playing with a short deck.
I guess
A
we all
family
have
member.
issues that are not yet resolved.
Yeah.
But the thing is, some of us have enough in us to be able to cope.
Yeah.
Enough coping mechanism that we can cope with the situation and not get to the extreme.
Right.
But with this guy, went out, just a coat on, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
What was his purpose? What could have, compelled him, so to speak, to go out there at that time of the morning, wee hours of the morning, to start shooting at people? What do you think was going down in his head?
I think, to me, it's no different than terrorism.
Okay.
You know, because you traumatizing people,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's for a short period of time. Those people have to live with that for the rest of their lives.
Yes.
And to apprehend this guy and not to do injustice to the victims by admitting him to some type of counseling, or whatever they're going to do to this guy and process him, I mean, he should be treated and handled as a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
Because people have to go out and eat.
Yeah.
You know, it's a place where people gather to entertain one another. It's a social thing.
Right.
And then if you got a person that's not stable coming in and upsetting that balance of society, then that person doesn't belong in society. And don't advertise it because you're planting seeds for some other nut to come forward
Yes.
to commit some other heinous crime.
But when you think of it too, how is this affecting the business? This is the people's livelihood.
Right, right.
The employees who are there, you're working now in fear. Somebody might step in one day, decide to just shoot up the place.
Yeah.
The customers, would they want to go back there knowing this kind of thing happened there?
Right.
You know, so it's not just one or two people affected.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is really affecting so many people.
Yeah.
Gun, but it's one of these same assault rifles that
Military
was used
grade.
recently.
Yeah, military grade. Yeah.
Was used at this other school the other day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think what we need to do is to have some kind of restrictions, stronger gun laws. Now the NRA, you know, their remedy is more guns.
Mm-hmm.
More guns doesn't mean less killing.
Right.
More guns just mean more random people
Right, yeah.
out there randomly shooting up other people.
Right.
So that doesn't hold water. But then the politicians who are supposed to make these decisions,
Right, to
and
protect
put
society.
the laws
Yeah.
to protect society, where are they? In the NRA's pocket.
Right.
Because so many of them get so much of their funding for their campaigns from the NRA.
Mm-hmm.
They get a grade from the NRA. Wants to get a low grade. So many things are going against us
Yeah.
when the people who should be protecting us are benefiting from our calamities.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I think from that case, it's like, it's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the hospital's going to make money. The police department's going to get a grant to do whatever they need to do. The lawyers are going to get money, you know, and the victims are stuck with,
Still stuck with the pain.
with the pain and sorrow of losing a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they would go after, if a person commits a shoots more than two people, I think whoever makes the gun should get a stiffer penalty along with the person, the assailant.
But like they said, well, the guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Right.
You use the gun. So if nobody took up the gun,
Right.
the gun wouldn't do any damage.
Yeah.
Fine. Clear. But what about cigarettes? Now let me just flip into something. We had a big thing about that. The companies had to pay so much money.
Yeah.
They made the cigarettes. They didn't stick it in your mouth.
Right.
So they didn't make you get the cancer.
Right. Right.
Technically.
Right.
But by using this, you get it. Now, they knew that they put this stuff in there that makes
Cause
you addicted.
Right.
They also knew this stuff
Cancer.
could create cancer.
Yeah.
Well, the gun makers, they know these are dangerous weapons.
Yeah, special
they can
bullets.
take life.
Yeah.
And if we're going to have them on the streets like this, hey, some hothead, I just don't like the way you look.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore I'm going to shoot you down.
Right.
So what we got going here for us?
Yeah. 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 We're behind the 8 ball.
Sure.
And most of these criminals, they don't go to the fire range to learn how to shoot. They might shoot anybody who's walking or washing their windows. You know, they
Right.
watch TV in Hollywood and they spray everything, killing babies, and it don't matter to them because you know they're trying to prove a point.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
Now there was another shooting this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
A youngster, teenager. He was, I think, in somewhere crying out for help.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't want to hurt anybody.
Right.
He had no intentions of hurting anybody. He just wanted to be locked up.
Yeah, and
Now,
help.
why would he want to be locked up?
He wanted help because I don't know if he ran out of medicine or if nobody believed that he had a mental issue. So he took it upon himself to enter the schoolyard with a weapon, and it took off from there. But then again, they'll put him in rehab. But the kids are still traumatized because
Yes.
they had a lockdown. I was in Jackson this past week, last Thursday, and somebody in the area had a shootout, and the police was involved, and they had to lock the school down.
Oh, boy.
A friend of mine, he was a first responder, yeah, and he was a retired warden down there in Jackson, so he had to leave the lunch because he got the phone call. It's just that's where society is going. It's going down the tubes.
So right now, we're becoming a society ruled by the gun.
Right. Violence.
Take the gun away, who is going to rule the society?
Yeah. The gun.
Now, I ask that because the people who are in positions of power, politicians, they don't seem to have any will to do anything about it.
Yeah.
They're always promising. It's like, well, when the next one happens, when the next one. How many next one we gonna get?
Yeah.
How many people already been killed for the year?
Yeah.
How many mass shootings we have had in schools for the year?
Right. Yeah.
And we need to call on our politicians, and I was gonna say, but I don't even bother say the president. Because he is like an absent landlord.
Yeah.
Absentee landlord. He doesn't even know what's going on.
And they have no faith. They have no belief system. They've been bought off. To me, when you become a politician, you become a liar. Because they're not serving. They're only serving themselves. They're not serving their constituents.
True.
I look at the
cases.
condition of the streets, the infrastructure just in most cities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's horrific. It's just terrible. What you have to deal with, and then they put taxes on things that is unnecessary, and then they want more money, and then they'll give themselves a raise, and then they retire, and they live the good life. They'll move to some other little location other than the state that they represented. Get under a palm tree and just build a mansion.
Enjoy themselves.
Yeah, and I think
guess
that's why
part of why they do what they do.
Yeah.
And let the NRA and those folks control.
Yeah, lobbyists.
All the lobbyists and things. They pay big money to the lobbyists and all they pay out to these people. So they need something for their money.
Yeah.
And the politicians come down to a word, greed. Greed.
Yeah. Yeah, materialistic people.
Now, this youngster, he wanted to be locked up. I didn't get the whole story. What do you know about that?
He was depression issues
Okay.
at that young age. What is it for him to be depressed about? He don't know nothing about life. He hasn't even got started yet.
Yeah, but you get youngsters with depression.
Yeah, but to do something like that detrimental to your own future, that's...
Did anybody get hurt?
I don't think anybody got hurt. It was just they apprehended him before somebody got hurt.
Okay.
But he did have a weapon on him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he went there, he did that,
someone
just to get picked up.
One of the teachers or instructors or counselors talked him down.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You mentioned you mentioned faith. They had no faith.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. What
Yeah.
do you think going on there?
Well, to me, the whole world has went nuts. And love, you can throw that out the window. You know, everybody talks about love, but very few people show it. Everybody talk about faith,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody shows faith. You know, everybody talks about Jesus, but they don't act like Jesus. I was coming back from South Carolina, went down to see my daughter. On my way back, you know, I went through, you know, a couple of black communities, and we got the same issues. I don't care what black community you go into, we got the same issues. And the thought dawned on me that what does the First Baptist do that the Second Baptist don't do? I'm talking about the white
Uh-huh.
church and the black church. So the thing dawned on me is that when I recall reading in the Bible that there was two gods, two Jesus. One Jesus had hair of a lamb and, like you say, fiery eyes and feet of bronze.
Bronze.
So I'm thinking maybe this bronze fella is who we should be following, because this white one, what he done to us as far as slavery, abuse, Greenwood, what's that place in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I know what you're talking
They
about.
created laws to keep black people in their place,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that was all done under this white Jesus. So I'm thinking,
Now, hold on. You say the white Jesus, the black Jesus.
Yeah.
Now, bear it in mind that this was just man's depiction.
right,
But like you rightly said, when you go back in the Bible and it talks in Revelation about Jesus, the hair like wool, the eyes as a flaming fire, and the feet of bronze, and that kind of thing. And that gives a more of a perspective that he was not Caucasian, blue-eyed, you know, white skin, that type of thing.
mm-hmm.
And I can't find this. I had some for years a description of Jesus. This was the description that was found, an inscription on a stone that was found describing Jesus. I don't like to mention it, but for fear I say anything wrong.
right,
I'm hoping I could find it or get it someplace. I don't know. But if ever I get it, I'll share it with you.
okay,
But the whole thing is, somebody wanted a depiction of Jesus
right,
to give people something to look up to.
yeah,
Okay.
tangible, something tangible, yeah,
And this white, blue-eyed, long hair, whatnot, you know, the rest of the picture of him,
right, right,
is what was passed on.
right.
Now, why do you think that even amongst the black churches, the black preachers constantly portraying this white Jesus as it?
Right. Yeah, the absolute. Yeah. Because I know for a fact that spirituality is more important than religion.
Okay.
Because religion, there's too many of them for it to be right. But spirituality, the thing that I love about the scripture and reading the scripture is that it talks about a covenant.
Uh-huh.
And that covenant never changes.
Okay.
It was written in the beginning, and it said, and the Bible says, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end.
Okay.
Or Alpha and Omega. So this covenant it never changes, and it's the same covenant that they live by in heaven. So man come up with this religious ideology and created these images, these false images. They call them pagans, pagan worshipers. So I'm looking at the conditions in the black community, and I'm looking at the mindset. You remember the Brown versus the Board of Education?
Yes.
Where these two children had two dials. One dial was white, and the other one was black. And the children at that time, at the height of religion, and the Last Supper and the image of Jesus with the halo around his head, that was at the height of that. So these children, it was like a Superman. I mean, you got a white doll, and this doll, and white people say that they walked on water. Their grandfather walked on water, and did all these miraculous things. And then this black doll ain't got a dime to his name, so that's a bad doll. This doll can't do nothing for me, so I love this white doll.
But I think in that study they found the black kids were even gravitating to the white doll.
Yeah.
Because this is the
Yeah.
idea
The psychology.
they had
Yeah.
of a Jesus.
Right.
And this was part of the indoctrination, the brainwashing that white is better.
Than black.
In Animal Farm, by George Orwell, talk about the 4 legs good, 2 legs bad.
Yeah.
Animals better than man.
Man.
Well, the man is going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now you take that same concept and it's like white is good, black is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about they blackmail you, that's bad.
Yeah.
Every time they come with something bad, it's black.
It's black. Yeah. Death. Anything. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But if you look at it on a more spiritual level.
Yeah.
And I'm glad what you said that. Spirituality is not the same as religiosity.
Right.
Religion, they always ask you, what's your religious preference?
Right.
Methodist, Baptist, Church of
Yeah.
God, whatever.
Yeah.
But that doesn't tell how spiritual you are.
Right.
Your spirituality now has to do with a relationship with Jesus,
Yeah.
with God.
Yeah.
And that, the religion, whatever denomination it is, they should be espousing that.
Right.
Unfortunately, we got, like you said, that split.
Yeah.
A white and a black God.
Yeah.
Well, no man ever see God. And as a matter of fact, when Philip asked Jesus to show us the Father, he said, look, I've been with you all this time, Philip, and you don't know me?
Yeah.
You asking to see the Father?
Yeah.
Man, if you see me, you see the Father.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Righteousness.
Well, let's take it from the outside, the color.
Mm-hmm.
Then we know he couldn't be Caucasian.
Right.
God is not Caucasian.
No.
Because Jesus was the express image of God.
Right.
And as the express image of God, he totally represented God.
Right.
Therefore, he couldn't be Caucasian.
Right. Yeah.
That's just simple logic around it.
Right. And Jesus also, he fed the spirit.
Yes.
He didn't feed the flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Because he described what the characteristics of a person that was living in the flesh.
Uh-huh.
Greed, jealousy, envy, all those other attributes was dealing with the flesh.
Right.
But spirituality was love, joy, happiness, all those
Peace.
righteous things. Yeah,
Yes.
peace. Yeah. So that describes what's going on in the world.
Yes.
You look at all the jealousy, you look at all the envy, so everybody's chasing after the flesh and material things. They're not seeking the spiritual things that's in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been rope-a-dope.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Now, how do we get around this? What are we going to do? What do we need to do?
Yeah. I think, like the Bible say, focus on righteousness
Okay.
and holiness.
Uh-huh.
If you look and study the covenant, and I think it's in the 42 laws of Ma'at, where it actually says, I can't make you cry. It's a sin. And if I sin, it's a sin if I say something that's can't be proven or accuse you of something. I can't even accuse you of something. And I can't cheat God. I'm in harmony and right frequency with the universe,
Okay.
which black people were created from the universe. And they were given spirituality. Everybody else might need a religion, but the black people of color, the people of Adam, they need spirituality. They do not need religion. So the covenant is the essence of people of melanin.
I'll go so far as to say what you just said covers everybody. We all need spirituality.
Yeah.
And the problem is we don't take the time to really examine. I'm going to this group because I like how they sing.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea over here that such and such happens.
Yeah.
Or they have something that the kids could enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. But what are they teaching?
Right. Yeah.
What is the essence of what they believe?
Right.
You know? And who is in control?
Right.
Is it the man standing in the pulpit or the God that we are supposed to be serving?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Which is it?
right, we are supposed to have a relationship with our Creator,
Mm-hmm.
and you live up to it. You don't lie. You speak the truth. You stand up for the truth. You take control of your environment.
Mm-hmm.
You don't let nobody dominate you, but your Creator. That's who you serve. You don't serve man. You serve your Creator.
That's right.
And people think that they got to serve man or be afraid of man. And the Bible says, don't fear man. Fear the person that can kill your physical and your spiritual body. That's
Okay.
the one.
And when we got just about a minute to little over a minute. But until, let's take for example, these churches, mega churches. What do you see seemingly is their motive?
I see in these mega churches, people are wrapped up in tradition, rituals, the things that Jesus went in the temple and turned over,
Uh-huh.
money changing. That's what I see in these mega churches. They go in there wet and they come out wet. They go in there sinners and they come out sinners. To me, it's hypocritical to talk about Jesus and then come out and live like a liar. You got to be right with yourself. You got to live with yourself,
Sounds like you're saying quite a number of people go to church. They're in the church,
Yeah.
but they're not really of the church.
No.
We claim to be the children of God, but in essence, we are not truly representing God.
Right.
We are not truly representing our calling.
Right.
So until we get back to the standard that God sets for man,
Yeah.
and we start looking to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, we are not going to make it.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? Don't let anybody make you think that God chose America as his divine messianic force to be a sort of policeman of the whole world. God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.